Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Dead Space 2. So, we're in the Ishimura. They've introduced neon glowing biomass blood that people, maybe children, are writing scribblings from the marker here. Apparently when I destroyed the marker in the first game, it turned all the Necromorphs on the Ishimura into goo. And it wasn't until I rebuilt the marker that they reconstituted themselves, which is, I guess, an indication that the Necromorphs have no ability whatsoever to stay alive without the marker. They are effectively just some sort of machine being controlled. This is the section where we took out the giant character. We are not particularly in the greatest position to try and take on the strong, super strong character like that. If we do run into an immortal necromorph, I bet also, because we don't have the ability to freeze them, we would have to either run or attack if they appear. So the doctor in the first game was freezing. He was a crazy unitologist guy, I'm pretty sure. He was freezing necromorphs to send them back to where they were. I was trying to run away from that, and that did not work well. I'm just gonna go and use my health. There's stasis here. I guess I ran when I should have used stasis. I'm not 100% sure what these things are supposed to be. Are they collecting the biomass, or are they cleaning it, or are they stasis, portable stasis units, or what? That was just one necromorph. I don't believe there was any hacking minigame like this in the first game, so they've kind of just added this. It's kind of unnecessary. I get definitely some feelings that this game could have been a half-finished version 2.0 of the first game. If it weren't for all the levels that we've seen before we got to this point on the Ishimura. If this was the only part of the game that you could play, was being right back on the same space station that you were on in the first game, it'd be a lot easier to make that criticism. But since they did add some more content, and they are putting these save spots just everywhere, and I'm over saving. I'm also overspending on bullets. I'm also trying to play as thoroughly as possible. Clearly they did not get everywhere they wanted to be. And this is the message from the first part of the game.
I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I just can't believe what's happening.
This was another section where...
Strange. Such a little thing. In the end, it all comes down to just one little thing.
See, this message felt like she was doing drugs or something, or she was pregnant. I mean, you could take it as she was saying she was pregnant and she killed herself, or you could take it as she's doing drugs and got addicted and she killed herself while doing drugs, or you could take it as she's killing herself because of the necromorphs. And see, in the first game, they said you never watched it to the end. And so now I'm watching it till the end, which there might have been an achievement. Although on Steam, none of those got merged or moved over to Steam achievements, so doing that really is just a storyline reason to do that, nothing else. This was an area where we ran into some pretty strong necromorphs. More and more, though, it's kind of... I think you're sort of going in a linear fashion as the first game, but you're so much stronger that you're just doing a lot more damage. Let's go ahead and use some health things while we're here. But I also kind of don't care that I'm stronger and I can kill things that were real problems in the first game. That's to be expected. And not something to really be glorified. If anything, what I would want to see is that the necromorphs on the Ishimura have managed to become stronger in some way, and thus they are even worse than the necromorphs that would have only been created really relatively recently on the Sprawl. In fact, it probably would have been better for them to not say that everything turned into a biomass when you destroyed the marker, and that Isaac realized that his efforts to save the day in the first game, while somewhat effective, did not inherently mean all the necromorphs on the Ishimura are now dead and you were perfectly safe. Let's see. And we're still very much just going on the greatest hits. And for the most part, it feels like we're also still just going in the same place. I almost wonder if maybe some of this writing was in the first game, it was just in blood, and now it's bioluminescent because of these lights that are placed everywhere. I remember in the first game, I think I remember at least, that just moving that platform left and right was, for one reason or another, giving me trouble. It was just being a little janky. A lot with that character. About 18 more bullets. There's a workbench over on that side. See, what's funny is there would have been a door here that I thought you had to pay to get into. But I guess maybe canonically you did pay to get into it the first time, so no power node required. I kind of feel like you would just have a disinfectant spray. You wouldn't be plugging in lights and walking through all of this. You'd just be like, hose down every single surface, and we'll have a guy behind you holding these lights and showing you all the goo. And I guess we're just taking that. Wait a minute. That's not supposed to happen. That's supposed to happen. A little glitchiness. Unless that was intentional glitchiness to show that Isaac is crazy. This guy, we haven't been dealing with this guy much, but he jumps around a lot. Definitely jumps around a lot. And that could eventually prove to be an issue. I am running into... I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot that over there. Probably shouldn't have used the health right then. I'm definitely running into issues of the game not giving me as many bullets as what I'm using. We have yet to run into the fatal scenario that is kind of hard to cause, where there literally is no bullets at all, and I would be left just swinging my arm around. Now, up until this point, there's been no reason to ever not do this. And that is a door. So I'm still gonna assume that this is the right move. But in the first game, there definitely were instances where you did not get a power node back for spending a power node. Although, and there they had a jump shock of something attacking me from inside of a crate. There actually was no power node in here. Interesting. Like, yeah, I see 0 power nodes in this area. Nothing hidden around a corner. Nothing behind anything. Nothing to telekinesis. And I do believe this room was a bad choice in the first game too. Oh well. It's not a big deal. We have 4 nodes. Do we want to try and move up this direction, and this direction? That would be 4, and I couldn't get that far. I could probably get some line gun bullets. Or I could go for reload speed, or, you know, I'm not sure. We could go for alternate on the flamethrower. What is the alternate fire on the flamethrower, I wonder? Let's go with the line gun. Capacity on the line gun. We do... Let's see, if we do this, then this, then this. That is effectively the same as doing this, then this, then this. The only difference is timing. So do that, that. And that leaves us with one node. Five shots on this gun, so I shouldn't use this. 93 shots on this gun. And 49 shots on that. I think we're gonna just have to use the line rack gun for a while. And we're still just moving through the greatest hits of... I'll actually use this gun. Of the game. There really wasn't a lot of sections in the first game that aren't at least slightly memorable. That is an interesting point. I guess maybe like, but there is also a possibility that my girlfriend actually isn't dead. She tried to kill herself and they saved her. She killed herself, or she killed herself before the necromorphs broke out, and thus her body was never used or converted. These, of course, are just your own feelings. Evacuate this area immediately. Getting spoken back to you of a just general unhappiness of a terrible situation. I thought that door was open. Guess it wasn't, or maybe it was, and I missed some kind of opportunity to run through a door and collect something. More bullets. There definitely was a whole section where this area, I believe, was barricaded, or one of these was, and I needed to get parts to make a bomb to blow it up. Back to the store. Am I in a position where I want to change things? Like, first of all, let's move that before we do anything else. Let's sell that many stasis things. Let's move that. Let's move that. And where are we now? I think I want to sell the little health packs. That doesn't get me very high though to where I want to be. I could sell this line racks. And I could sell 4 Javelin spheres, which are apparently Javelin spheres are either reusable or extremely cheap, because a pack of 10 would only go for 1,000. Or I could sell the large med pack. I think you keep the large med pack. That makes too much sense. Most of these bullets are at this point useless. Let's sell this, and that'll get me right over 30. And just nodes. At least 2 of them. I'm just gonna go with the nodes and hope the game provides bullets. And was there not a save file over here? Yes, there is. These save stations. Some of these save stations feel like they needed to have been broken. Just as a general idea of like, no, you don't really need to save your game. Again, it feels like they felt like this section of the game was going to crash a lot. And maybe, you know, who knows, maybe it did in the original releases. Maybe it's just that it doesn't crash now. Also though, just get rid of the save stations altogether and introduce a checkpoint system. When transitioning from the first game to a sequel like this, it would have been pretty easy to do. Have it checkpoint whenever you hit a door, or the store is offline.
From when I left to when I died.
You're not gonna bring me.
Why do you insist these memories are somehow my fault? This isn't about the marker, Isaac. This is about you.
And see, we're getting these like every time we're near a computer, so it seems like the marker both can manipulate people and computers, if I was to guess. We're getting different kinds of spray, so people are like spray painting over where you should clean. That sounds like some kind of insane micromanagement. Like, dude, if you want it clean, either have the crew right there and tell them to clean it, and do you really need to tell your cleaning crew where to clean? Oh, that gives like the indication that they had one cleaning crew come in. They were incredibly lazy and didn't clean anything, and the manager had to come in and say, oh no, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, we're not paying you until you actually do your job. Which would, I guess that would be a slightly interesting thing to see about how CEC really works and EarthGov really works, because we kind of don't know how any of that works. I'm pretty sure there's something to pick up over here. Let's orient ourselves. Somehow managed to fling that all the way the other direction. This is a section where you really could not have this kind of experience. In the first game, because you didn't have hovering abilities. So that idea, like I kind of have to wait till something fires at me until I can see like where the character is. Interesting. Just grabbing him and shooting him did damage to him. I wouldn't have thought of that as a thing. Almost think that this is probably a waste of time trying to fly through this whole section and kill everything. Right. There's my health has got these elements on him. It's got like a target on his back. Interesting. So the game is being a little bit more generous. Where is it? See, I don't have a target right now, so I cannot find this. This is a mess. It's a mess of a sequence. I guess I don't really care that it's though, because it's pretty short, it seems. So maybe the highlighting of the blue symbol was specifically to tell me that I could land somewhere. There is something somewhere making sound. But it seems like it can't find me any more than I can find it. Or perhaps the game is just programmed to make more sounds. So what does it really mean in this game that we're getting to dirtier areas with more biomass and blood on it? Because I kind of don't get the feeling that it means much of anything. And that was a bit objective, apparently. Like, I don't get this creeping feeling. Like, we're just getting flashes of the first game. And the flashes and the jump scares, I think for pretty much any gamer at this point, you would be over it. Like, it seems unlikely that you would care about the flashing, because every time you see the flashing, you're safe. They needed to, at least at the very beginning, at least once, have implemented the idea of, oh, you're not actually safe sometimes in the flashbacks. You can actually get hit. And we're on the bridge. What does the alternate fire do? We'll find out later, I guess. These guys are new from the previous. They weren't in the previous game, so I'm gonna die. Come on. And so we get another lovingly animated death sequence, which rips off an arm or a limb. It's kind of weird that the Necromorphs choose to have you disembodied quite often when they're trying to keep your body intact, or you'd think they're trying to keep your body. They'd want to keep your body intact so that you could be used. Alright. Well, I guess we'll use the line gun. And are we gonna get the hallucination again? Yes, we will. Take some more bullets. So we're gonna get on the command deck And on the command deck, there should be another workbench so I could upgrade some more things. Ideally, I want to use like the bullets in the fire gun and the bullets in the line gun to upgrade that. I'm not even sure what our objective really is right now. I think we're supposed to be get to the gravity tethers, snare the government sector with the Ishimura's gravity tethers. So we're supposed to be, I guess, activating the gravity tethers from the bridge. Okay, and since we saw that fight, it seems pretty obvious that there won't be any kind of big boss fight there. So I'm just gonna have to be a little bit more careful next time. It's been 30 minutes, so as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.